They don't answer to any chapter. They operate across all borders. They have no geographical limits. And to join them, you must first commit murder. Tonight, we expose the most feared unit within the world's most dangerous motorcycle club, the Hells Angels Nomads. These are the secrets even other angels don't know. Opening, the elite within the elite. Think you know the Hells Angels? Think again. While the world focuses on the thousands of regular members across 592 chapters in 66 countries, there exists a shadow organization within the organization, one so exclusive and deadly that even seasoned Hells Angels members speak of them in whispers. They are the Nomads. Not just nomadic members who travel between chapters, but elite units that operate with complete independence from local chapter authority. Unlike every other Hells Angels member who wears a territorial patch showing their city or region, Nomads wear only one word on their bottom rocker: Nomads. But here's what makes them truly terrifying. While regular Hells Angels chapters are bound by geographical territories and local politics, Nomads answer to no one except the highest levels of the organization. They cross all borders, operate in any territory, and carry out missions that regular chapters can't or won't handle. The Dutch Public Prosecution Service discovered something chilling during their investigation into Hells Angels operations. The organization has created what they call a culture of violence, with specific internal awards for members who commit acts of brutality. But among these awards, one stands above all others in terms of exclusivity and terror, awards that only Nomads are known to possess. Most shocking of all, the qualification process for joining certain Nomads chapters includes a requirement that would eliminate any possibility of law enforcement infiltration. You must commit murder before you're even considered for membership. The Quebec Revelation, birth of the modern Nomads. The true power of the Nomads became clear during one of the most violent criminal conflicts in North American history. On June 24, 1995, Maurice "Mom" Boucher, the most feared Hells Angels leader in Quebec, founded something unprecedented: a Nomads chapter with no geographical boundaries that could operate anywhere in Canada. This wasn't just another chapter. Court documents from the subsequent trials revealed that Boucher designed the Quebec Nomads as an elite killing unit. To join, applicants were required to commit murders, a requirement so extreme that it ensured no undercover police agent could ever infiltrate the group. Stéphane Gaudas Gagné, a young criminal who desperately wanted to join the Nomads, demonstrated this requirement in the most brutal way possible. On June 26, 1997, Gagné and another Hells Angels biker, André Toots Toussaint, murdered prison guard Diane Lavigne, gunning her down on the streets of Montreal while riding a motorcycle. Their reward for this murder? They were promoted to prospects with the Hells Angels and given the right to wear partial patches. Wiretaps captured Toussaint, calling his wife to announce, "I got my patch yesterday," leading her to say, "I'm so proud of you." But this wasn't just about one chapter in Quebec. Boucher had created a template that would spread internationally. The Quebec Nomads became the coordinating chapter for all Hells Angels activities in Canada, overshadowing even the original Montreal chapter that had been founded in 1977. The power structure was unprecedented. Unlike traditional chapters that operated within specific territories and had to negotiate with other chapters for activities outside their area, Nomads could operate anywhere, at any time, with complete authority. The patch system. Murder as merit badge. To understand why even other Hells Angels fear the Nomads, you need to understand their patch system, a hierarchy of violence that transforms murder into a merit badge system. The Filthy Few patch, featuring 2 Nazi-style SS lightning bolts below the words, is awarded only to members who have committed or are prepared to commit murder on behalf of the club. Law enforcement agencies worldwide have confirmed that this patch signifies the wearer has killed for the organization. But the Nomads have access to patches that regular members never see. The Diquialo patch signifies the wearer has fought law enforcement on arrest, often violently. The ball-peen hammer pin is for members who have used verified violence on behalf of the club. Most exclusive of all, the Death Head Purple Heart, awarded to members who have shed their blood in defense of the club. What makes this system particularly terrifying is that it's not just symbolic. Former Hells Angels members from multiple countries have confirmed to law enforcement that these patches serve as both recognition and recruitment tools. Members compete to earn them, creating an escalating cycle of violence. The Dutch investigation found that members of Nomads chapters have been observed wearing multiple violence-related patches simultaneously, something that would be impossible without an extensive history of criminal activity that would disqualify anyone from law enforcement infiltration. Here's the crucial difference. While regular Hells Angels members might earn one of these patches over many years of membership, Nomads are often recruited specifically because they already possess the qualifications for multiple patches. They're not being trained to become killers. They're already killers being organized into an efficient killing machine, the international network, beyond all borders. While the Quebec Nomads grabbed headlines during the biker war that killed 162 people, they were just the beginning. The concept spread internationally, creating a network of elite units that operate beyond the reach of local law enforcement and even beyond the control of regular Hells Angels chapters. In England, the Hells Angels Nomads chapter was founded in February 1989 and has operated for over 34 years. Their website proudly declares they are made up with men of great character, personality strength, and honor-setting high standards. But what those high standards actually entail becomes clear when you examine their operations. Stephen Grumps Cunningham, a senior member of the English Nomads chapter, disappeared after boarding a ferry to the Netherlands in 1997. Dutch police investigations revealed he was allegedly murdered by the Amsterdam Hells Angels under contract from his own English Nomads chapter with whom he had been involved in a dispute. His body was reportedly disposed of at the bottom of a canal. What makes this case particularly significant is what it reveals about Nomads chapter autonomy. They operate independently enough to contract murders of their own members with foreign chapters, bypassing all traditional Hells Angels hierarchy and territorial restrictions. In Germany, police arrested a fugitive member of the Hells Angels Nomads group during the opening ceremony of a new Hells Angels pub in Potsdam in 2009. The man was wanted for weapons violations, but the arrest highlighted something more significant. Nomads chapters were operating in multiple European countries with apparent impunity. The Berlin Nomads have been linked to ongoing territorial wars with other motorcycle gangs, including the Bandidos, with law enforcement reporting a continuing war over territorial claims that spans multiple countries. The murder requirement: no undercover penetration. The most chilling aspect of elite Nomads chapters isn't just their violence. It's how systematically they've designed their recruitment to prevent law enforcement infiltration. Maurice Boucher's innovation in Quebec was brilliant in its simplicity. By requiring murder for membership, he created an organization that no undercover police officer could ever join. Law enforcement agents, no matter how dedicated, cannot commit actual murders to maintain their cover. This requirement has been documented by multiple investigations. Court records from Operation Springtime, the massive 2001 crackdown that arrested 142 bikers, including almost the entire Quebec Nomads chapter, revealed the systematic nature of this policy. Members weren't just expected to have committed murder, they had to prove it. The organization maintained detailed records of who had killed whom, creating what investigators described as a database of death that served both as verification for membership and leverage for control. But here's what's truly terrifying. This system has evolved beyond Quebec. Intelligence reports from multiple countries indicate that various Nomads chapters have adopted similar qualification requirements, though they're not always murder. Some require documented violence against law enforcement. Others require specific criminal enterprises to be completed successfully. The result is an international network of criminals who have already proven they're willing to commit the most serious crimes, organized into units that operate beyond traditional law enforcement reach. Canadian authorities discovered through wiretaps and informant reports that Nomads chapters share intelligence across borders, coordinate operations internationally, and provide mutual support that regular chapters cannot access. The business of terror, drug empires, and murder in sea. The Quebec Nomads weren't just a killing unit. They were the coordination center for one of the most profitable criminal enterprises in Canadian history. By 2000, they were collecting tens of millions of dollars from the drug trade, enabling leaders like Maurice Boucher to live in spacious estates and host lavish weddings attended by famous performers. But the financial success came with a systematic approach to violence that transformed the Nomads into what law enforcement described as Murder Incorporated. Court documents revealed that the Quebec Nomads established La Table, a council consisting of Boucher and other senior members who set drug prices throughout Quebec in consultation with the mafia. The price they set for cocaine, $50,000 per kilogram, came with a death penalty for anyone who sold below that amount. This price-fixing arrangement generated enormous profits, but it required constant enforcement through violence. The Nomads became the enforcers, carrying out murders not just of rival gang members, but of their own associates who violated the pricing structure. Louis Melu Roy, a nomad and president of the Hells Angels Trois-Rivières chapter, objected to the cocaine pricing arrangement. He disappeared after attending a party to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the founding of the Nomads on June 25, 2000. Roy had been a founding member of the Nomads, but even that connection couldn't protect him from the organization's ruthless business practices. The Quebec model spread internationally. Intelligence reports indicate that Nomads, chapters in multiple countries, have adopted similar approaches, using extreme violence to control lucrative criminal markets, while maintaining the operational flexibility that their non-territorial status provides. Unlike traditional criminal organizations that are limited by geographical boundaries, Nomads can coordinate drug trafficking, money laundering, and enforcement activities across multiple countries seamlessly. The modern threat. Digital nomads of death. Today's nomads operate in a world that previous generations of outlaw bikers could never have imagined. Digital communications, cryptocurrency transactions, and international travel have transformed these already dangerous units into something approaching a criminal intelligence agency. Recent law enforcement reports indicate that modern Nomads chapters use encrypted communications to coordinate operations across continents, employ cryptocurrency to transfer funds beyond the reach of traditional banking surveillance, and utilize dark web marketplaces to procure everything from weapons to false identities. But perhaps most significantly, they've adapted their recruitment and verification processes to the digital age. While they still require criminal qualifications for membership, they now use sophisticated background investigation techniques that rival those of intelligence agencies. A 2018 case in Ottawa revealed how deeply this system has penetrated criminal culture. Peter Guido, who was not actually a nomad, but claimed to be one, was able to rape and extort 2 women for $27,000 simply by claiming to be a member of the elite Hells Angels Nomads and wearing Support Nomads t-shirts. The victims testified that Guido told them he was the nephew of Hells Angels Nomads President Paul Sasquatch Porter had shot a man, and that if they reported him, the Hells Angels have a way of making bodies disappear. The fact that a pretender could successfully use the Nomads' reputation to commit serious crimes demonstrates the level of fear the organization has cultivated in the general population. But it also reveals something more significant. The Nomads brand has become so associated with deadly capability that even false claims of membership carry tremendous power. Current intelligence suggests that legitimate Nomads chapters have adapted to prevent such impersonation by maintaining more sophisticated verification systems and communication protocols than ever before. The government response. When nations fight Nomads. The threat posed by Nomads chapters has forced governments worldwide to develop entirely new approaches to combating organized crime. Traditional law enforcement strategies, designed to target geographically bound criminal organizations, prove largely ineffective against groups that operate across all borders. The Netherlands became the first country to attempt to ban the entire Hells Angels organization, citing specifically their culture of violence, as evidenced by the patch system and the international coordination capabilities of Nomads chapters. The Dutch Public Prosecution Service's legal arguments focused heavily on how the organization encourages its members to commit violence through their internal award system, with Nomads chapters serving as the primary recipients and coordinators of these violence-based honors. Belgium declared the Hells Angels an illegal organization with Vincent Hallez, becoming the first country to make membership itself a crime. This action was taken specifically in response to evidence that Nomads chapters were coordinating criminal activities across European borders. In Canada, the response to the Quebec Biker War included the development of specialized joint task forces designed specifically to combat organizations like the Nomads that operate beyond traditional jurisdictional boundaries. Operation Springtime in 2001 successfully arrested almost the entire Quebec Nomads chapter. But law enforcement discovered something disturbing. Within months, other chapters had reorganized to replace the Nomads' coordination functions. The Trois-Rivières chapter quickly became the new coordinating center, and membership in Quebec Hells Angels actually increased from 106 to 124 full patch members by 2002. This adaptability demonstrates why Nomads chapters are so feared even within the Hells Angels organization. They represent a level of operational sophistication and redundancy that makes them nearly impossible to permanently disrupt. The terror within. Why angels fear Nomads. The most revealing aspect of Nomads chapters isn't their violence against rivals or law enforcement. It's their willingness to eliminate their own members when operationally necessary. Regular Hells Angels members operate under the protection of their local chapter and the broader Angels Forever, Forever Angels motto that supposedly guarantees lifetime loyalty. But Nomads operate under different rules entirely. The murder of Louis Malou Roy by his own Nomads. Chapter 4 objecting to drug pricing demonstrates that even founding members of the elite unit are expendable when they threaten operational efficiency. Similarly, the contracted murder of Stephen Cunningham by his own English Nomads chapter shows that geographical distance provides no protection from the organization's internal enforcement. This willingness to eliminate their own members serves multiple purposes. It maintains operational security by removing potential informants before they become problems. It demonstrates to other members that absolutely no one is immune from organizational discipline, and it creates a climate of fear that ensures compliance even among the most hardened criminals. Regular Hells Angels members, no matter how violent or criminal, operate within a traditional brotherhood structure that provides some protection through mutual loyalty and chapter solidarity. Nomads, by contrast, operate in an environment where survival depends entirely on continued operational value to the organization. Former law enforcement officials who infiltrated other motorcycle gangs report that regular members often spoke of Nomads with a mixture of respect and terror. They were seen as the ultimate enforcers, but also as fundamentally different from regular Angels, more like professional assassins than traditional bikers. This fear extends to rival organizations as well. Intelligence reports indicate that when other motorcycle gangs identify Nomads' involvement in conflicts, they often escalate their own responses dramatically or attempt to withdraw from contested territories entirely. Conclusion: the Shadow Empire, the Hells Angels. Nomads represent something unprecedented in the history of organized crime, a fully international criminal organization with no territorial limitations, qualification requirements that prevent law enforcement infiltration, and operational autonomy that makes them nearly impossible to predict or control. They are the elite within the elite, the shadow organization within the world's most dangerous motorcycle club, the enforcers that even other Hells Angels fear to cross. With over 6,000 Hells Angels members worldwide, the Nomads represent only a small fraction of the total membership, but they wield influence far beyond their numbers. Their requirement for murder qualification, their international coordination capabilities, their systematic approach to violence as a business tool, and their willingness to eliminate their own members when necessary, have created an organization that operates more like a criminal intelligence agency than a traditional motorcycle gang. Most terrifyingly, they've proven adaptable to every law enforcement response. When one chapter is eliminated, others take over its functions. When one country bans the organization, they coordinate operations from neighboring jurisdictions. When traditional investigative techniques fail, they develop new operational security measures. The secrets of the Nomads aren't just about one elite chapter or one crim.